You guys, we're back. This lead-in is, man, it's been an eventful weekend for the team on All 52 Podcast. Sean, Javon, what's going on? Sean, Javon, and Brian, my bad. What's going on, fellas?
What's going on?
Eventful, right, Javon?
We getting this out the way?
I think we should go start it off with this one.
Yeah. Y'all are on Bleacher Report. Y'all are on Twitter. Some of y'all are on Awful Announcing. Yeah. So I asked Fran Brown about his name being mentioned in some job openings around the country. And the brother started tripping out, which y'all did not see. Which my good buddy Sam Newman over at Awful Announcing, very good friend of mine from Temple, included in his story. Dude waited till the cameras went off to roll up on him and asked me, why would I ask him about that? And threatened to stop answering my questions, and asked if he could pull a Dion and ban me for future press conferences. And I'll see Fran Saturday, so anything that's said here can absolutely be repeated then. Fellas, what's Dion's signature line? I got 3 jackets that I didn't pay for.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Fran, you spent 2 years trying to make the Bengals practice squad, bro. You ain't Dion. Calm that down. Then he sends his PR guy to speak to me last night.
Damn, this is big.
And apparently, the issue was calling them bigger jobs. Sean, is Penn State not a bigger job than Syracuse?
Yes, that's obvious.
Is UCLA not a bigger job than Syracuse?
Yes.
Arkansas?
Yes.
Oklahoma State?
Absolutely.
Virginia Tech?
Absolutely.
When Florida and Auburn come open?
Absolutely.
So, let's stop the nonsense. I laughed at it. Because Fran Brown knows the business of football. Was Fran Brown not a part of the staff at Temple that got paid to go down to Baylor and take them to the Sugar Bowl?
Yep.
Oh, okay. Did Fran Brown not use that in 2 years at Rutgers to get to Georgia and get himself a ring with Kirby Smart? Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I'd rather be the one telling the story than being part of the story. But yeah, the funny part is though, let's just say he thought I was talking about Penn State specifically. I know for a fact he's not getting that job. I know for a fact Pat Kraft had a chance to hire Fran Brown twice that time in the same year. Sean, who was the 2 guys he went with?
I forgot the names off the top of my head.
Manny Diaz and Rod Carey.
Man.
Yeah. Everyone knows Pat Kraft is in love with Matt Rule. You think Matt Rule is not going to be the first person to get the phone call?
Penn State alum.
Phone at him?
Absolutely.
And if he can't get Rule, of course he's going to call Signetti. And if he can't get Signetti,
sure,
he'll call Manny Diaz once again. Please tell me Manny Diaz ain't leaving Duke for Penn State.
In a second.
Okay then. Okay. Yeah. I think Fran tends to forget, Pat Kraft is in that circle of people who you just had to be around Temple to know. The real Fran Brown. The Fran Brown who, before he got to Syracuse and before he got with Kirby Smart, who kind of taught him how to, do the song and dance, would spend his head coaching interviews and, his phone calls calling in favors, crapping on other candidates rather than hyping himself up. Pat doesn't want anything to do with that. And I tell cats up here, hey, I don't know how Fran has y'all sipping this Kool-Aid of he's this new religious, just, super saved dude. Y'all gonna see him. And something that started the show Monday. I couldn't believe the "you from where I'm from" statement that he made. What that mean? I'm supposed to let you off the hook? I didn't ask you a difficult question. I threw you a softball. I tried doing you a favor. I said, "Do you want to take this time to reassure your fans of your commitment to Syracuse?" And he didn't. And this fan base is pissed about it. So there you go. But that's that. I will not be traveling to Georgia Tech or Miami. I will be traveling to Notre Dame. Then there will be Boston College, and then there will be the end of the season. And we will see where we go from there. And that's that.
So a few questions for me. Is it those you're not traveling just because of the situation that took place last a couple of days ago, or was this
so we were already going to scale back on how many riders we sent to these road games because Syracuse football is bad right now.
Yeah,
and
makes
people
sense.
around here are going to start caring about basketball more than football once November rolls around. But you can't tell me my bosses don't want a bit of a cool down.
Absolutely.
I'm cool with missing Georgia Tech. Fine, whatever. I can't say I ain't a little pissed about Miami. And if it's it's about anything other than this, then that's a conversation for me and them to have. And get that solved. But no Miami. And I'm fine with that. Because listen, you're a big dude too. Plane travel ain't always the most fun for people of our height. So avoiding that travel in the back stiffness, to watch Carson Beck and them boys just go stupid. I'm fine with that. Missing that plane ride to avoid Georgia Tech running all over them, I'm fine with that. I'll be honest with you. Like, Notre Dame, I kind of wouldn't be mad about missing either because that might not be a close game. We'll see. But Notre Dame got to show me something against USC for me to know if that'll be a blowout or not. But yeah, man.
Yeah, at this point.
Yeah, that's the situation right now.
Well, we had to hear it from the horse's mouth, man. That was crazy. Go ahead.
Well, I'm going to be funny but petty here. Having said all that you just said, are you keeping your options open for a bigger?
Oh, absolutely. So let's make that clear because that's like just so. That's the thing. You know what I mean? Like I didn't take this job covering Syracuse football because it's just some dream job of mine. Nah, like get myself back on the map. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, no, I'm absolutely looking for some bigger
life works.
Staying here.
Yeah, and I said I wasn't really trying to put you on this. The point I'm making is, we're all looking to advance in some capacity in career ambitions and endeavors, and to respond as if it's outlandish to even put it on the table. It is very, very it diminishes who you are. You know what I mean? He could have handled that much differently. Said, right now I'm focused on Syracuse. Appreciate the question, but right now I don't want to even consider, and left it there. Right? He could have handled that very diplomatically, but the fact that he took that angle to go at you says that he's now he's put himself in a worse predicament because he looks worse. You know what I mean? Like you said, ultimately he never answered the question. He did not reassure the fan base. So to me, that says there's no loyalty here, even though I'm blowing hot air.
That says Jimmy Sexton's on the phone trying to get him an interview with all of those openings. That's exactly what that says.
And the thing is, he could have just kept it. I think people love transparency. Like, we all know what it is. You name all those schools, who wouldn't take that job over Syracuse? And no disrespect to Syracuse, but it is what it is.
Can we stop saying no disrespect to Syracuse? Because it ain't disrespect.
All right, then whatever.
Not act like this ain't been a basketball school for the past 40 years.
Absolutely. I get that.
Come on, man. Hey, we gotta stop that. Him and the fan, the delusional members of the fan base. To those who understand that it's a stepping stool job, got respect for it. Be honest about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it ain't disrespect. It's Syracuse. Nobody takes Syracuse when it comes to football.
No, it's true. It's true.
And basketball ain't been the same since they joined the ACC. It's not some great jobs. It's not some great gigs. It's a small town with nothing to do. Like, it's come on, man. We gotta relax. But yeah, like you said, like, no, it's a stepping stool job. I'm here as a reporter as a stepping stool job. Y'all all know, y'all both know I'd rather be covering the Duke or Carolina basketball rather than Syracuse football. Y'all know that. Come on, man. Let's not fake the phone. My bosses know that. If they don't, they're fools. But I'm pretty sure they know. I'm planning on being here for a long time. I don't even plan on being here for a good time. I'm here to do my job good enough to get the hell out of here. Like,
yeah, I get that. That makes sense.
Come on, man. And that's what that's. And you said something about the handling of the question. Go watch Matt Rule response to all this.
I saw that.
And go ask Manny Diaz's response to all this. Like, come on, man. There's a way to do it, and there's a way not to do it.
Yeah, I agree. But yeah, that was interesting. I saw those views on Twitter the other day. I'm like, man, this is going viral on here. But I wish I got to see the after. I wish I was a fly on the wall. I got to see what happened after the cameras start rolling.
Well, shall we discuss what started all of this?
Yes, go ahead.
James Franklin has been fired by the Pennsylvania State University after a 1-18 tenure against ranked conference opponents. Fellas, y'all know how I feel about it. It was time. Penn State football should never be in the situation of being a permanent little brother. I'm glad Pat pulled the plug. Not going to act like I'm happy about James Franklin losing his job. I don't even know the guy personally. But, when you're not performing, you got to go. So where do they go from here? Because I got to be honest with you. That looks like a team that lost all confidence after the UCLA game. And it showed up against Northwestern. And then to make it even worse, Drew Allen, who I just don't think is good, is now done for the season.
Yeah, I think that with Penn State is this. You just they got Indiana on the schedule. They got Ohio State on the schedule. They're going to probably end up with a 5-loss, 6-loss season. It's just what it is. And no disrespect to the interim head coach, he's not going to be a viable candidate to keep that job, even though they said, hey, he's going to have an opportunity. No, that job with that resources, that university, after years of just losing big games and not getting over the hump, you need to go big name hunting. You have to go get Matt Rule. Matt Rule's from Penn State. You can even talk when he was talking about, because you could see that he has love for Pat. He has love for Penn State. It just makes sense for him to go back home. It just makes sense.
Has there ever been a more obvious I'm leaving press conference?
I was going to say that, but we were talking about Fran.
As soon as he started talking about the money and the resources.
Yeah.
If I'm Nebraska fans, I'm writing the goodbye letters to him.
Yeah, it just makes sense. And you can't fault them. At the end of the day, to compete, with Ohio State, Michigan, any of the big schools in the Big Ten, you got to be able to pay to play. And Penn State did that this year. They put a lot of money into that team, and they just wasn't able to get it done. James Franklin was not able to get it done. Those guys lost confidence in themselves and him as a head coach. $50 million is $50 million, but it's Penn State University. We're not talking about little school in Mississippi or something like that. No disrespect again, but I do think it was time to move on from him. And just this year, it's a wash year, and you just learn from it. Drew Allard out for the season. I think he might be a 5th, 6th round pick. I haven't seen anything that shows me that he's an NFL talent. They do still have some guys worthy of watching for the rest of the year who might play in the league. But yeah, it's just a lost year for that team. But I think Matt Rule should be the number 1 candidate for them.
Well, I agree. It was time for Franklin to go for sure. I agree. Matt Rule is the obvious choice. Penn State linebacker and alum. So it makes sense. Matt Rule's a hell of a coach. When given the right resources, he knows this area. In terms of the Penn State region, he knows the area. Obviously, having coached at Temple, knows the lay of the land, and so the challenge for him, is exciting. And there's too much talent there to let it squander for years going forward, which is what they've already done with James Franklin, in my opinion. Yeah. So I mean, really, at this point, I feel bad for the players because they're the losers in this situation because Franklin not getting them up to par to be able to compete at the highest level. And now you're going to have a different voice but morale is low. So hopefully the interim can come in and give them that spark. You see that happen sometimes in sports where an interim comes in, the team realizes, man, we got this guy fired because of performance. Let's step it up. And then sometimes it turns around, but I don't know that it'll turn around enough to make this season, worthwhile. Like you said, it's basically a wash.
With the players, it sometimes it's hard for me to feel bad for them because at some point you got to make the plays, right? Like at some point,
Agreed.
Coach ain't the one on the field. It's you. And I just haven't been impressed by the players, namely that receiving core that they went out and spent all that money on this season. And you mentioned, wasting talent and losing talent. They've gotten a lot of decommits from the 26 and 27 classes that were absolutely, stacked late, in these last 2-3 days. So, they need someone who can get in there and get all those guys, back on track to being Happy Valley. One other thing, what cracks me up about this and everything that happened Monday, and I just said, that I know for a fact Fran's not getting this job. Like I said in our meeting between me, my 2 partners on the beat and my editor, I was like, I don't even think Fran's the guy to worry about losing from the Syracuse staff for Penn State. I think it's Elijah Robinson. Elijah got his start with Matt Rule. Is a fellow Penn State alum and has stunk as Syracuse's defensive coordinator. And that's Fran's best friend in the world. It would not surprise me at all if Rule throws to both of them a lifeline and says, Fran, how about I help you not have to fire your best friend, and I just bring him on as my defensive line coach and put him back in a position that he can handle.
Yeah.
Like I think that staff is going to fill out and be one that I'm very familiar with. Let's say that. And with that being the case, hey, Mike Long, Kareth Gabriel, and all my old family at the Philadelphia Inquirer, if y'all decide y'all want to go back to having a Penn State beat reporter, my line is open.
That'd be an amazing job, to be honest with
you. Because I am indeed looking for a bigger job.
Try to take your talents somewhere, to quote LeBron.
Take my talents to Happy Valley. Don't worry, the same as South.
Don't hit. I can't lie. I can't lie though. I can't lie. I gotta say something. When they say, "Hey, you can't go on these trips," I understand. You're like, I don't want to travel, blah blah blah. but you've been in Atlanta, in Miami. That's hard. I can't
Yeah.
lie. I was like, ooh, that's like a little punch to the stomach for me, at least. If they
No,
told me,
not for the locations
yes, the
are
location.
punch in the stomach.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah,
The
okay,
games aren't. The locations. Ooh,
yeah, that's tough. That's tough.
yeah. I had to talk to my dad for a good little bit last night about that. Oh yeah, your homeboy is like, hey man, you don't play with nobody. Trip to Miami.
That's what I'm saying. A
You'd have
free
thought he was the
trip,
one who got his flight canceled.
exactly. A free trip to Coral Gables
Right.
in Miami for 2
Yeah.
days. I'll be a little hurt by that, but
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
Can't lie.
Well, I got your stand in the Northeast this week. And this one brings some joy to my heart. We watched the Falcons just look like a clearly, supremely better team than the Bills on Monday Night Football. And the Bills, who came to this season with the easiest schedule in the NFL. And I want to say I am the one who predicted during our schedule release special that the Falcons were going to win this game. The Bills are winless against winning teams. All their wins have come against garbage so far. Sean, you're Mr. I love Josh Allen.
I do.
Any defense for your boy right now?
Shout out to, first of all, the Home Depot team. Me and my boy went to the game on Monday night. Best experience I ever had at a stadium for a game. That was a lot of fun. That's first. Second, I was excited to see. Well, second is Buffalo fans was like 40% of that stadium. I was very impressed how Buffalo took over, and I met some nice people from Buffalo. Third, I was excited to see Josh Allen. I can't lie. I was like, this is perfect. I get to see Josh Allen live. And that's not the Josh Allen I thought I was going to see. I can't lie. He played horrible. But also, I have to give the Falcons defense a lot of credit. The way they blitzed them, I think they blitzed them on like 60%, some crazy amount of number, which makes sense because I do see a lot of teams not blitzing Josh Allen because his ability to scramble, but they were getting to Josh Allen. And even when they wasn't getting to him, they were hitting him. So I give him a lot of credit. It's concerning. I heard head coach after the game for Buffalo say, hey, we have to get back to ground zero. The last 2 weeks, they've looked, I can't lie, I thought they were the best team in the AFC. More and more I think about it, it's Kansas City. Kansas City has the defense. They're getting healthy, blah, blah, blah. I'm not sure. Allen, the last 2 weeks, he has not been able to have the explosive plays like he's normally has, and he's been limited. I have to give the Falcons defense, which is actually one of the surprising better defenses in the league this year, a really standing ovation because that was a master class. Because when we were there, everybody was like, like it was 21-14. It was just assumed after halftime, it was 21-7. They scored after halftime, Buffalo. It was just assumed, hey, they got Josh. They're going to come back and win this game. It felt like that in the arena, right? But nah, the defense was the star of the show that night. And Bijan Robinson was special. The first half, the second half, that offense disappeared. But great experience. But I was disappointed that the only thing I was disappointed with is you get to see someone like Josh Allen play, you expect to see a Josh Allen performance. I did not see that on Monday night. But again, the Falcons defense shut them down.
So the lower third says fraudulent bills. That's TV talk for lower third. And you know what? In this American society where everyone loves to sue, Bills fans should sue the Bills because they are fraudulent. 1 week we're riding the wave and crowning them Super Bowl champions, and then lo and behold, they come back to earth. Are they a good team? Absolutely. Are there gaps in their ability to make it all the way? Tremendously. And they ride and die on the back of Josh Allen, much like the Ravens ride and die on Lamar Jackson. When Lamar's not there, the Ravens look like a JV football team, basically. And if Josh Allen isn't on his A game, the Bills either don't really have a chance or get blown out of the water. And we're seeing the evidence of both, right? So by that account, that speaks volumes to the two individuals I just mentioned and why they're perennial MVP candidates when they're on their A games, because they literally are most valuable players to their respective teams. The Bills still have an easy schedule, so the world's not falling in. The earth's not caving in. Right, the Bills will be fine, but the Chiefs are hitting their stride, and they are probably the class of the AFC, as you mentioned. Although some other teams may have some pushback, but generally speaking, I think that's the consensus.
I'm hearing a lot of stuff about Josh Allen. I'm not hearing enough of, all the Bills fans last year on social media swore Lamar didn't deserve the MVP because of how great Derrick Henry was. And in this season, all of the truth is coming to the light. That Derrick's success of 1,800 yards at the age of 30-something was very much due to the threat of Lamar Jackson last year. And now, all of a sudden, Josh Allen can't hoop unless James Cook's having some great game. The Bills have looked rough in the last 2 weeks, particularly Josh Allen. And it just so happens that James Cook has rushed for fewer than 100 yards in the last 2 weeks. I just find it funny how there's a lack of consistency in this world. It rubs me the wrong way. So, I'm just going to keep on keeping on with my belief that, Josh Allen's got some talent to him. Absolutely. Mega arm, athletic, hard to bring down. A Big Ben, if Big Ben would have kept himself in shape type of thing. But, Big Ben to me was never some world bender. Big Ben was a good talent that was also a product of the pieces around him. And that's just how I feel about Josh Allen. Good talent that is also a product of the pieces around him. First, it was, Stephon Diggs, and now it's James Cook's got to do his thing for it to look good, I know is I've seen Lamar Jackson go out there with Willie Snead as his number one receiver and have to make matches happen and go win 14 games that season. I'm still waiting for that kind of year from Josh Allen. I've seen Mahomes with nothing but Kelsey on the offense. I've seen Lamar Jackson with Willie Snead as his top receiver. And I've seen them both go out there and make their teams look like the best thing since sliced bread. But every time Josh Allen's in a similar situation, we do the cry and woe is Josh thing for him. No, I want you to go do what I've seen those two do. I mean, even Burrow has had I've seen him carry a defense in the O-line that just cannot do their jobs properly, period. And we just asked Josh to carry his team for just a couple weeks. And it's too much to ask. The PR campaign around that guy it's the best I've seen since LeBron James, man. It's amazing. It really is. Truly. He's got everyone fooled.
Whoa. No. We got to put things in context. Patrick Mahomes, without the weapons around him over the last year and a half, has not looked. He's been the worst out of those four quarterbacks. Let's call a spade a spade. He's been out of Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, and Patrick Mahomes.
I think you said the last 4 years.
No. I said the last year and a half.
Last year and a half. I think he went to the Super Bowl last year, Sean. I don't know. I think he keeps going to the Super Bowl and beating those guys en route to it. I don't know.
Come on, man.
What more do we want?
Come on, man.
I'm seeing him make the plays when they matter the most.
He won an AFC Championship game scoring 17 points against Baltimore. That's a Baltimore problem. Not. You know what I'm saying? You're saying let's go straight up say.
Who made the play on third down that mattered the most?
Okay, that's fair.
Who didn't throw the interception?
So you're saying over the last 2 years, 2 seasons, now he's playing like an MVP where he got his weapons back. Patrick Mahomes has been better than Burrow, Lamar, and Josh Allen.
He's been the winner. That's all that matters.
He's won. Absolutely. He's been the winner, but he hasn't been the winner.
They're two different arguments.
There's two different arguments.
Yeah.
He's been the winner.
So.
No.
So the way to put that, if you're saying who's the better quarterback, it's got to be Mahomes based on winning. But if you're saying who's the shinier toy in the showroom,
I think
he
that's
is
what
not,
you're asking,
right?
Sean. Who's been the shinier toy?
No, I'm saying who's been the better quarterback. I'm saying the better quarterback has been those guys that play quarterback at a higher level than Patrick Mahomes. Listen, when Brady won the Super Bowl against the Rams in 2018, the last Super Bowl in New England, the best quarterback in the league was Aaron Rodgers. Brady won the Super Bowl, but the best quarterback in the league that year was Aaron Rodgers. It wasn't even close.
You know, and this comes from an Aaron Rodgers fan. I hate hearing that because it's always this much talent, this and boom, 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 that. Aaron didn't do his job in the playoffs. He's the one who never got back to the Super Bowl. He's the one who peed down his leg every time we had to see the 49ers.
It's rare.
Tom just went out there and won.
Listen, it's rare. We'll use basketball terms that the best player also wins the championship. Jokic has been the best player for 3 years. He's won the title once, right? Been to the final once.
I think that's kind of a last 5 years thing in the NBA. I tend to think the best player in the league wins the championship. Sean, what's my saying in the NBA? It ain't the MVP, it's the finals MVP.
All right, but then you're also champion parity, so you can't have it both ways in life, man.
What you mean?
I
just said it's the recent trend.
Okay,
but just changing. I can admit that.
Okay, but that's the trend. So usually, yes, before historically, Kobe, Shaq, Duncan, they dominated championships. It's rare that you have an SGA, who I thought was the best overall. Oh, Jokic was dominant, but SGA was the best overall, and he won the finals and was the champion. He had all the, you know what I mean, MVP. It's rare. Mahomes is the winning. I would take Mahomes over those three guys in a postseason game any day of the week. But the last 2 seasons, now he's healthy. We got amnesia. We can't remember that he wasn't great with those guys were out. Come on, man. Let's be real. He was playing mediocre quarterback the last 2 years.
You know why? Because winning makes you forget a whole lot of
Exactly.
So,
and I give credit. They're the favorites in the AFC again because he's playing at a high level. They're getting healthy, and Baltimore is a disaster at 1-5. And Buffalo hasn't shown me enough yet.
Ruben Bain. I'm keep speaking into existence. Ruben Bain. Bring the Hurricanes back to Baltimore. Ruben
Bain. He should be the top pick in the draft. But yeah, so that's just my thing. But I'll give it up on Josh. It's week 6.
No, anybody giving up? Just trying to point out just a little bit of truth about Buffalo, which is just supposedly a sin these days. I'm telling you, 2 things you can't tell the truth about in this life: LeBron James and the Buffalo Bills. I'm telling you, you cannot speak the truth to my fault. LeBron James and Josh Allen. That's 2 people you cannot tell the truth about in this world, or else you're just doing something wrong.
Your hater rate is up.
Yeah, if you ain't praising them, you a hater. I don't get that, man. I just don't.
I don't think it's hate. I just think these are facts. But whatever.
What's next, Sean?
All right, so we got the same old Lions. The Lions lost on Sunday Night Football to the Chiefs 30-17. The story was after the game with Brian Branch punch Juju Smith-Schuster in the face.
Can we celebrate that?
I was going to say that.
Is there anyone who needs his ass whooped in all the sports more than Juju Smith-Schuster right now?
That was funny.
That was beautiful. That was beautiful to watch. Hats off to Brian Branch. If I had it like that, I'd pay his fine for him. But yeah, he got the money, not me. So he ain't hurt.
Are they suspending him?
He missed the game. He suspended the game.
Okay, yeah, he was wilding for that, and he admitted afterwards. But I thought it was funny because who he did it to. You know what I mean? Like, I just thought that was funny.
I think the whole league was on his side today. Zaire Franklin was even on Club 520. Like, yeah, Juju needed that because he just talked way too much.
Juju talks like he's him. Talks like him. But regarding the game, yeah. Again, I don't look at it as like the Lions are still in the upper echelon of the NFC, but let's call it spade a spade. The Chiefs are starting to play better football. They're getting healthier. We're starting to see Kansas City again. If Kansas City's healthy, top to bottom, even the NFC, they're the best team in the football. Like, if they're healthy, they haven't been healthy for 2 years. That's why we've seen mediocre play from that offense. But the defense has been a constant. If you get the defense and you get all those playmakers, there's no reason why Patrick Mahomes and them shouldn't win number 4 or whatever number this is going to be. for them. Or they definitely should be back in the Super Bowl. But the Lions, I'm not giving up on them. I still like the transitions, how they switched over from offensive coordinators and the defense. I think they're playing better football, and they're still in the mix. It's just Kansas City's healthy, and so I'm not mad about the results.
So that's a scary proposition. The league had a 2-year head start, so to speak, in the race to be great. And Kansas City still wound up winning a Super Bowl, or at least making the Super Bowl. And, they won one and lost one. So over the last few years. So it's just amazing because now the point you're making is they're healthy. And if they get healthy and they're hitting all strides, do they become a juggernaut or what? I mean, basically, they're the scariest entity in football. And so, but with regards to the Lions have been up and down, not so much the model of consistency in terms of their ability to win the big games. They've been a good team now for a few years, and certainly under Dan Campbell. He's the kind of coach that resonates with his players. But the mystique of him being that ultimate motivator and player coach is going to soon fade. It's the same story, and I'm not comparing them, that Harbaugh had for a while. Gleaning off of the Super Bowl victory, it was easy to say, oh, he's this great motivator, and he kept them relevant and really pushing strides. But at some point, you're going to need to get over the hump. Just like the Ravens can't beat the Chiefs and get over the hump, apparently neither can the Lions. But even more so, where it matters, the Lions have yet to get to the Super Bowl with the talent and his great motivation. So at some point, that wears off, and we may be getting closer to that than we realize.
Detroit showed me its real colors against Washington in the postseason, who we're also going to talk about later on in this show. And they've had 2 games this year against teams that we believe are in the Super Bowl picture. And they look bad in both of them. They look too soft for Green Bay, and you're never supposed to look soft in the NFC North. You're not supposed to look soft in the NFC North, the NFC West, or the AFC North. And that's what Detroit looks like. And then against Kansas City, man, one trick play doesn't go your way, and you just crumble. I thought that's what replacing Ben Johnson was supposed to cure you of. So, offensively, you're still the same team. Defensively, I think they're better. I really do. And everything I've said about Aaron Glenn on this podcast for the last 2 years is really coming to the light right now. So, like, the defense, whatever. Hey, Chiefs, you ain't the first team to give up 30 to the Chiefs, and you certainly won't be the last. But offensively, once again, one trick play doesn't go your way, and that's it. Because you're drawing up plays without even knowing the rule book for proper shift and proper formation. And you just let that send you on a complete spiral. Come on, man. When are the Lions just going to win a simple football game? When are they just going to get under center and hand the ball off? When are they just going to get in shotgun and throw the ball? When is the gimmick going to end and they're just going to get to, cut the nonsense and be a football team?
AFC
That's my
North.
question. When are they going to, you're going to appreciate this. When are they going to stop being Rocky Maivia and be The Rock? You know what I mean?
We hate Rocky Maivia. I did not like that character.
When they going to stop being Hunter Hearst Helmsley and be Triple H? Just get to it. Stop the gimmick. Just get in there. It gets annoying with Detroit, man. It really does.
So you think they're just a gimmick? So they're like the Phoenix Suns, the 8-second or less team type of gimmicky team. Okay, I see what you're saying. All right, I see what you're saying.
They are the 7 seconds or less Suns of the NFL. Yeah.
Okay, I get what you're saying. All right, and I never believed in that team winning a championship, that Phoenix Suns, ever. Okay, and I could see the parallels of that if you make it seem like that. Like the gimmicks always going on the fourth down kind of stuff, like things like that. Like sometimes just take the points. Like I'm a big believer in that. Sometimes just take the 3 points and they just be doing. I do agree with that point. Some of the stuff is too gimmicky, and it's like, is that going to win you a Super Bowl? And we've never seen it, and I have to see it to believe it. And I don't believe that type of style will win you a Super Bowl. Like, look what happened to them in the postseason last year. So yeah, I could see that analogy. That makes sense to me.
Anything else on this topic?
I'm good.
Well, let's move over to their former defensive coordinator, who's now 0-6 as the head coach of the Jets. Fellas, I told y'all Aaron Glenn was doing a little too much flapping at the mouth in the offseason for a guy who just was not the coaching candidate everyone thinks he is. And now they aren't the same old Jets. They're worse than the same old Jets. And I truly, in my heart of heart, believe that Aaron Glenn should be a one-and-done head coach. I wouldn't be mad if he doesn't make it through the season. He was never a good head coaching candidate. His defenses in Detroit severely underperformed. And now the Jets, look, yo, I'm going to be honest with you. Y'all can say what y'all want and act like I'm being a prisoner of the moment. I promise you I'm not. Hugh Jackson's Browns teams were better coached than this. Seriously. These guys look like a high school operation. It's not good whatsoever. In the Justin Fields stuff, set Garrett Wilson free. Live with the fact that you messed up with the Sauce Gardner contract. And just start fresh. Get an actual good head coach. Get a good GM. Woody Johnson, stay out the way and let the people you pay earn their paychecks and do their jobs. Change the field at MetLife. And just be a proper NFL organization. Simple and plain.
Brian, you want to go first?
Well, that says the winless Jets. It should be the hopeless Jets because the organization is in shambles. There's the evidence is there, right? Aaron Rodgers, future Hall of Famer, goes there, and that could have been their saving grace, and clearly it wasn't, and it was a debacle from the jump. And he gets out, and now he's reemerging as a future Hall of Fame candidate. He's on his last leg of his career, but he still has something left in the tank. And by looking at his Jets days, you wouldn't have believed it. Now, granted, he got hurt the first play of the first year, but outside of that, it just never propelled to anything. What do you say about the Jets? I mean, there's so much wrong. You alluded to it in your statement. I don't know where it gets right, and what the glimmer of hope is at this point for New York. I mean, when the turf is even a part of the equation, the grass is even bad. Like you almost need to relocate because it may just be a curse. It may just be a cursed area for you guys, right? I don't know if you need Joe Namath in there, with his magic coming back. I don't know. It just is awful.
I would say this though. I was just looking this up. They lost 34-32 to the Steelers opening week. Then they got killed by the Bills 30-10. Then they lost to the Buccaneers 29-27. Then they lost to the Dolphins 27-21. Then they lost to the Cowboys 37-22, and then they lost to the Broncos 13-11. I think we're going to be tough with Aaron Glenn because he came in with this bravado and this arrogance that I don't get where that came from because you've never been a head coach before. Maybe he was trying to instill fake confidence for his team, but it just looked really bad. And the way Aaron Rodgers in Jets era did not go well at all, but the way he treated Rodgers on the way out was not a level of respect to someone who Aaron Rodgers has accomplished a lot in his career. Let's call it. Some people might like him, might not like him, but he's one of the top 10 quarterbacks of all time. That's just in my opinion, right?
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, we can't debate that. So I would say this. I do think they are lacking. Let's put this to bed. Justin Fields cannot play as a starting quarterback in the NFL. Can we all say that?
While we're on the conversation of how coaches handle press conferences, that wasn't some bad question from that reporter. That's a fair question about Justin Fields being benched. He's 14-35 as a starter in the NFL. It's a fair damn question.
And you have someone like Shador not playing. Even Russell Wilson should be playing over Justin Fields. I'm just being real. I think Justin Fields is not an NFL starting quarterback at this point. Go ahead.
Have we ever seen anyone, by the way, be more disliked by a team than Russell Wilson is with the Giants right now?
That was great.
He was in for one play, and Brian Daboll was ready to blow a gasket. They had to pick Cam Scatterbull out of the blue tent trying to check on Jackson Dart. The whole team was trying to get Dart out of the tent. It's so bad that the NFL is trying to see if they follow proper protocol in evaluating Jackson Dart. Oh, man, Russ, man. Yeah.
I've never seen. Actually, maybe Russ should get out of New York now you think about it. He probably shouldn't have played for the Jets.
What did I say a couple weeks ago? Russell Wilson needs to get out of the NFL.
Well, yes,
exactly. You have Sierra at home waiting for you. I promise you, that's enough incentive for me to hang up my cleats. I'm ready to go home. I don't need to see football ever again. I'm good.
Yeah, you're good. It's time.
Russell, it's time. Well, he's having babies at an alarming rate. He's having more babies than he is throwing touchdowns at this point in his life. So
that's facts. That's facts. He's done. So my thing with Aaron Glenn is, I do believe I wouldn't fire him because I think him and the GM made a fatal mistake by thinking with Justin Fields, which I said last year. I said before, I don't like him as a quarterback. I think he should be a backup, emergency guy, but he's not a starting quarterback in the NFL.
He'd be a great backup for Lamar Jackson, which the Ravens finally invested.
Absolutely, but this has shown me that he's done as a starter in the NFL for now. Like maybe he sits for a couple years and does the Geno Smith thing later in life. Who knows? But I do think Sauce Gardner, and I would move on from Gary Wilson as well. I think he's temperamental and I didn't say he's frustrated with the situation of a quarterback, but I think you got to clean house. You got to get a whole new system. Sauce, what did Sauce do over the last 2 years? It says he should be the highest paid cornerback in the NFL. Nothing.
Got his money and he got Ice Spice. It's over with for him. It's over.
Exactly. Because he's flashy. That's not why you pay guys like that. He's not even in the top 5 cornerbacks in the NFL to me right now. So you don't do that. And so they're a mess, but I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. The only thing that's concerning, like we talked about last week, there's not, to me, unless I like Mendoza from Indiana. I really like him a lot, actually. I don't love this quarterback class that's supposed to be hyped up. And then the next year, if some of these guys stay or go back, I don't love it either. So unless someone comes up, I don't know. They're going to have the number 1 pick. Mendoza, he reminds me like of a Kirk Cousins type of quarterback. And I have no disrespect to him because I think he's going to be the number 1 pick. But I don't think he's one of those guys who's going to take your franchise from A to Z. He needs the pieces around him, like any rookie quarterback. But I don't think he has that it thing. I don't think any of these guys have it. So I'm worried for the Jets over the next 2 seasons. Like, how do you find that franchise quarterback?
What encourages me is if you can win that Indiana, imagine what a competent NFL coaching staff can turn you into. That's my thing. That's my thing with Kirk Signetti. You got people saying it might be hard for him to leave his lavish surroundings. I respect him if he wants to stay in Bloomington and keep, turning the Hoosiers into a football program. But I just keep thinking about if you can win that Indiana, imagine what you can do at some of these other places. Yeah,
great point. I would take a hype if I could go to Florida. I'm going to Florida. I never get mad for people taking better opportunities because we all would on this podcast would take better opportunities if we get it. So why can't they do it? But I just think how you do it is important. Fran Brown, just say, hey, I'm interested, and that's it. I'm still going to do my job, but yeah, I'm interested. And so so that's what I think with the Jets. And I like Mendoza. I just not sold on him yet. I'm not sold on any of these quarterbacks, but if I had to the number 1 pick right now, I would take him over Dante Moore. It's not because of the win, just me watching quarterbacks. I think he's more suited to play in the NFL right away. And that's it.
All right, fellas. We might be going through the whole AFC East today. Fellas, did you wind up catching Tua's press conference this week?
I did.
The being late to team meetings and boom, 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 and just still everybody's fault but Tua's in Miami. Oh, as the former football player of this podcast, can you just shed some light on what you have to be thinking if you're one of Tua's teammates after these last 2-3 seasons?
He's going to cause tremendous rifts by speaking out the way he has, considering he is the leader, the face, being head, being the quarterback, and he has not delivered. Now, granted,
At
the
all.
injuries have saddled him tremendously at the onset of his career, so that part's not all his fault, right? You can't control the effects of concussions. The fact that he's getting concussed suggests that the O-line is not producing, right? But you stay a family. I mean, I have witnessed and I've been part of really bad teams in my playing days. And the thing you don't do is turn on each other, because that just makes matters worse. And I fear that his statements, which should have been closed door conversation, not media driven, are the kind of conversations that are going to make matters worse. And Miami has had this trouble before. There was a lineman, and I forget his name, but he was getting bullied and wound up, getting out of town.
The Richie Incognito situation.
Yeah, Incognito. So clearly, that locker room, that culture needs work. And my opinion, Michael McDonald,
Mike McDaniel, yeah.
Was Mike McDaniel, yes. McDaniel has lost the locker room.
Yes.
I don't think he is the voice that they need. It's probably time to move on.
I mean, he was too soft to begin with. Just I can't put it any other way than that. It's offensive coordinator right there who needs a head coach with some strictness to him. It's like Tua. Every week there's something new about the team this, the team that, and guys not doing this and guys doing that. Can we talk about how you ain't performing? Can we talk about how you've been bad? Can we talk about how it's time for Miami to find itself a new quarterback? I'm hearing too much every place in the blame. Sweep around your own front door before you try to sweep around mine. Can you look at the man in the mirror? Can you start admitting what's wrong with you and taking some accountability and showing some leadership before you start going at the whole team? It's sickening. And he's talking about being late to meetings and all that stuff. I'm going to say Kayshawn Hamilton called him out on Twitter the other day. Like, yo, my first day as a Dolphin, even though it was a short span, this dude was late to a meeting. When in the world was he talking about? You don't even hold yourself to the same standard that you're trying to hold everyone else to. You come into the season, with all this to say about Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill's been a far better receiver than you've been a quarterback. Mm-hmm. Tyreek Hill, dare I say, is going to be. Tyreek Hill's got a shot to be a first ballot Hall of Fame. Tua Tagovailoa ain't going to get consideration for the Hall of Fame. What are we doing here, man? That dude, that's a clown to me right now. It really is.
Yeah, he's more about sound bites this year than his play on the field. All right, so I think that's McDaniel's the coach we should have been talking about first in the AFC East who should be fired. I think the writing's on the wall. I saw some stupid podcast talking about, it's hard to build an organization in Miami, all the distractions, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no, you can have, there's distractions in LA too. There's distractions in New York too. I know Miami's Miami, but it's the lack of leadership.
There's distractions in Houston.
It's Houston,
distractions in Dallas.
Exactly.
There's distractions in Detroit.
Atlanta.
There's distractions in Chicago, Atlanta, DC, Baltimore. What are we talking about?
That was the dumbest thing I've heard on a podcast. I'm like, no, it's the head coach. It starts with the head coach and the quarterback, and they're both disaligned. And I blame Stephen Ross from this, because at the end of the day, they did have Brian Flores there, who is a disciplinarian, right? And Tua couldn't deal with his coaching, but you could tell Tua for Tua to take it to another level now, he probably needs a tougher coach because he's kind of stalled out at where he's at. He needs a tougher coach. And Stephen Ross, successful billionaire from Michigan, smart guy. I get it, but the way he's run this organization, so he's taking over all these different head coaches every like 4 or 5 years on average. It don't make sense. And so if you're gonna go fire McDaniel, you need to go the complete opposite McDaniel, like a Mike Tomlin. I'm not saying Mike Tomlin. I'm just using that as an example. Or even if Harbaugh gets released from the Ravens, you bring he's gonna get another job. Bring him down to Miami. You got to do something different. You need a culture builder. You need a someone who could set the tone over there, Belichick type of person. Now, I don't know. I'm just throwing names out, but you need someone like that to come over and take over your program, because that team's known as being the softest team in the league for the last couple of years. Everybody's caught up to McDaniel's gimmicky plays and motions. Like it's just not good football. It's not a good organization. They needed it. You're in the same city of Pat Riley and the Miami Heat.
And
you know what I'm saying?
Complete opposite.
And the complete opposite.
The Heat and the Florida Panthers.
In the Panthers, exactly. And with discipline, structure, the way that you built. And so that excuse, well, it's Miami to build a football team. The Miami Heat's been running the same way for 20, 30 plus years in Pat got down there in 94. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, you got to have a culture setter. You need to set that culture. And that's where they don't have that in Miami.
That's the first time I've heard that that excuse. It's hard to build a culture in Miami.
Yeah, like Miami Heat right across the right across the street. Like, don't make no sense. I was like, that is the dumbest thing.
We can even pretend that that's the case. Hurricanes football was on the booger shirt, winning national championships.
Absolutely.
And then they went from that to rapping about the third floor parties or whatever, the Greg Olson era, where them boys were getting buck wild.
Oh, those guys are crazy.
And still winning.
Mm-hmm.
What are we what are we talking about here?
Poor excuse. That's excuse. Just excuse.
Yeah, terrible.
All right, fellas, there's I feel like for the first time this season, there is an undisputed top 3 in college football. I just don't think you can argue that it's Ohio State, Miami, and Indiana. My only argument this week was the order. I had Indiana as number 2 on my ballot with Miami number 3. But I don't think you can argue those are the top 3. But are we certain that those are the 3 favorites for a national championship halfway through the season?
I'm not certain, because I gotta be honest. I love what Indiana has done, and I like the quarterback. I love the coach, and the defense has been solid for the last 2 years. But do we think head to head? Let's be honest. Are they better than Alabama? And that's the only dispute. I think Miami and Ohio State are the 2 best teams in the country. And then I like Indiana, but I can't definitely say they're better than Alabama at this point. And I understand Alabama has 1 loss to Florida State, which is a bad loss. But
we're starting to see them being unhealthy in that game really meant something, because they've looked completely different since then, and so have the Seminoles.
Oh, yeah. And the left tackle is special, by the way. The Proctor kid, that kid, he would be top 5. That kid is special. And so I just, that's my only debate. And it's again, maybe it's bias or something I don't know, but I just on the field and just watching, can't definitely say that I would pick Indiana over Alabama, but right now they deserve to be in the top 3 what they've done. And one of the top 5 teams in the country, without a doubt. But that's my only thing. I would be like, I wouldn't be mad if someone was like, Alabama's in the top 3, Indiana's 4th. And that's it.
Well, I agree with you. I think Indiana is right on the cusp of really being, a surefire, dominant, or top 3 team. They have exceeded expectations, I believe, and I think it's fun to watch. But your point exactly, head to head, I can't 100% say they're better than certain teams in the league. You used Alabama. I'd tie in Georgia as well. Some of the other teams there. Ohio State's running away with this season. It's theirs to lose. And I don't know that they will. I just think they're that good. but of course the playoffs, anything can happen. You might run into an Oregon who's cooking, on the right day. But right now, I am just really impressed with Ohio State, and like I say, it's theirs to lose.
Yeah, I can't argue much with anything you guys said. I think the top three pretty good, and Alabama has to be in the conversation, like Sean said. Granted, I do have Bama at fifth in my poll this week behind Texas A&M. So I think the Aggies still have a chance to show that they're in the conversation. I can't say I believe in Georgia this year. I just can't. Not Oregon. Texas Tech, I just wish they played stiffer competition. Not Ole Miss, not Missouri, not LSU, not Tennessee, not OU. I really think it is down to those four, and then A&M proving that it can be in that conversation. Sean, you said it in the text threads. That defense in Columbus is special.
Special, yeah.
I mean, scoring on that squad is going to be extremely difficult for any team in the country. And then once they get the ball back on offense, you got to guard Jeremiah Smith.
Yeah.
That is a scary, scary proposition. So I might have to lean with Uncle on this one in the terms of this might be the Buckeyes' championship to lose. So with that being said, Sean, I'm revisiting a theme from last season on this podcast.
What?
Ryan Day, you better not lose.
To Michigan?
I mean, hey, so they lost to Michigan and still won the Natty last year.
Yeah.
I think not losing to Michigan this year, like being in Michigan this year, would prove that they really have turned the corner and are ready to be the team in the country, right?
I agree. That's a great point.
So I think for confidence,
and this is a good
game. Yeah, I mean, they got a freshman quarterback in Michigan. They've got a bad head coach.
Right.
They can't beat anybody that's for real. I think this is the year where I need to see you stomp the Wolverines and prove this ain't the same Ohio State. Yeah. Like they win that game this year, I'll put all my money on them winning the national championship. Easy. Even if they lose that game, I think they still have a great chance to do it. But I think this is the year where them winning the game will mean so much. They'll feel unstoppable, which is scary. Like every team in the country should be rooting for Michigan come Thanksgiving weekend this year.
Yeah, I think that's the best team. And I can't disagree with anything. I did have a question, John. I know you're more into college sports than me and Brian. Do you think Elko would leave A&M to go to Penn State?
Whew.
I would give him an opportunity too if I was Penn State.
So it's a conversation because I feel like right now they're two very similar programs. Like I think A&M might be the Penn State of the SEC. All the money and just keep playing little brother. So it might be a lateral move, but at the same time, it might be easier to win the Big Ten.
I think it will be easier.
It's something you'd have to strongly consider. And it's just going to be way easier for you to recruit Penn State than Texas A&M because you've got to worry about Oklahoma, Texas Tech, LSU to a degree. SMU. You got a lot to worry about recruiting in Texas. Penn State, everybody wants to play for you.
Mm-hmm.
Like Pitt's getting your leftovers.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Syracuse is getting your leftovers. Boston College is getting your leftovers.
And the
The
Northeast,
only team,
Penn
like
State might be.
the only team, and this is shocking, and it really makes me disappointed in Mike Locksley. The only team in the region that has been able to compete with Penn State, at least on the Eastern Seaboard side, has been Maryland. Maryland's been getting talent, and Locksley just not winning with it. You know, when Penn State's competition in recruiting comes from the state of Maryland and the state of Ohio. Outside of that, they're dominating the recruiting trend.
Yeah, it's easy for them to dominate that beat. So that's the premier school in the Northeast, I think.
Yeah, it is.
It's easily by far. So they should be able to recruit that whole region and then go outside Midwest and stuff like that. But yeah, I just thought about that. I'm like, when you said his name, I was like, he would be what he's done at A&M has been impressive. And like, I do think it's easier, but you still have Ohio State, who's not going anywhere anytime soon, to win in the Big Ten and consistently compete in the SEC. It's just, it's hard. It's to do that.
No, you're right. All right. So, I understand you got to hop off and take care of your business. So we'll see you next week.
We'll see you next week, man.
Any parting words?
I'm looking forward to another fun week of sports and talking to you guys about it next week. Go Panthers. How about that? Go Panthers. That parting shot.
That's dope.
Oh, yeah, the Cowboys. What a mess. Oh, man. All right, Sean, it's me and you the rest of the way. Man. You know, for 4 years, Sean, for 4 years, I had to keep hearing about the hunt for Red October. And no one wants to be in CBP going against the Fighting Phils in October. It's just impossible to do. It's impossible to win. It's going to be the best hour. It's going to be the best playoff atmosphere in baseball. I think it's now dead October, Sean. I don't want to hear about Red October anymore because they haven't done anything. I think it's over for the Phillies. I think the time of considering them as contenders is done. They have proven again that they cannot get the job done at Citizens Bank Park. And I don't know how you squandered Trey Turner, Kyle Schwarber, Bryce Harper, JT Realmuto, who's done now, by the way. I think his best years are now behind him officially.
Yeah.
You know, and Zach Wheeler and Aaron Ola. I mean, they squandered one of the best rosters in baseball. It's really amazing.
Yeah, that year, what was the year they went to the World Series?
They lost to Houston. That was my senior year. Yeah, that was 2022.
Okay, so I thought the way they play, their grit, they're down. They're going to go back. I thought so. I would say over a couple of times over this podcast over this few years, like, hey, I think they're going to go back. But yeah, I think they've. At some point, the core is the core, and they have a lot of free agents. They can't pay everybody. It's the typical Dave Dombrowski team, big on numbers, big on salaries, go all in for these guys, and it just hasn't came to fruition. So yeah, I don't. And the NL East will just get tougher. Miami surprisingly has a lot of. No, not surprising. Miami always gets a lot of good young talent. I think the Braves will bounce back. The Nationals, we'll see. They've been up and in limbo since they started rebuilding. And then the Mets are there. So the Phillies will be in the mix, but I don't think the path is going to be as easier because they're going to have to switch some of the core. And yeah, I think there was a team that was on the cups. They lost that World Series and was never able to get that feeling back, never able to get that swag back, never able to get that team back to that level. And it's been disappointing. If I was a Philly fan, I'd be like, man, I thought we had a chance a couple times to win the World Series. But also, bad card, bad matchup against the Dodgers. Like, well, I don't see anyone beating the Dodgers.
I don't want to hear that.
No, I agree.
You're the team, right? Go through.
Yeah, but
like, what's the excuse last year?
No, there's no excuses. When they lost to Arizona, I was kind of like, yo, come on. You know how I felt about that Arizona team.
Yeah.
Like one of the worst teams I've seen make the World Series in the last 15 years. I have to look back. That might be the worst team to make the World Series in the last 15 years. And look what have they done the last 2 years since since coming back. So nah, but I do think, yeah, no excuses for them. But if the Dodgers don't win their back-to-back World Series, I mean, the first team to do it since the Yankees, that'll be the biggest surprise in sports since the Giants losing the Giants beating the Patriots in the Super Bowl. To me, personally.
So, yeah, Dodgers up 2-0. You're penciling them in.
Oh yeah, that team's going to win the World Series, and like I think there was one of those teams that didn't play up to expectations in the regular season. We've seen that, but I've seen it when I was younger. That 96 to 2003 Yankee run, they wouldn't play their best, but when the postseason came, it was like, all right, let's turn it on. And I again, now that the Yankees are out, I do want to see the Dodgers win it because I'm like, I like dynasties. I like it. And I like extended dynasty. I like to, hey, we got to shoot for something. I'm a big proponent of that. You don't make it easy. Like, oh, this is parity. Everybody gets a chance. I don't like that. The Dodgers are the best team. They're building it the right way. I'm envious of how they built it. A big market team with a great farm system and got all. They became the it franchise. No one can. The Yankees are the Yankees. But the Dodgers are the it franchise, and everybody wants to emulate in baseball right now. I'd be surprised if they don't win the World Series. Very surprised.
I think the Dodgers are in competition with no one but the Chiefs for the it franchise in all of major American sports right now.
Exactly. And they're doing this without Ohtani playing his best baseball, too.
Yeah. Yeah.
No question.
And the Brewers just showed us how great they were last series.
Absolutely.
It just shows you the Dodgers on a whole completely different level, in a completely different stratosphere.
Yeah.
So I don't think any of the American League teams can beat the Dodgers, and the Brewers are having a tough time. So, yeah, I mean, give me the Dodgers in a series that won't be too long against Milwaukee.
Yeah.
Seattle seems to be feeling it right now against Toronto. Entering the series, I probably would have went with the Blue Jays, to be honest with you. Looks like I'm going to be wrong about that. But, yeah, I mean, it's going to be a West Coast World Series, which I fear means we might get some 9 o'clock first pitches, which I don't want to see. Oof. But, yeah, it's going to be a West Coast World Series, and the Dodgers are going to make quick work of it.
I don't understand why baseball, a little rant on baseball this. Why do we not have more World Series games or postseason games start early in the day? I love that 6 o'clock, even 3 o'clock time frame. Like maybe I just don't understand why they don't do more games early in the day. That 9 o'clock, no offense to Seattle and the Dodgers, I'm probably going to watch, if it goes to game 7, the whole game once. I'm probably not going to watch it. Maybe in the last game, which the Dodgers going to win in 4, because I'd like to see that stuff. But other than that, that's not the ideal time to have a World Series game. And I always look at it on a Wednesday night. If you're trying to grow to a younger audience, some of these kids got school. Like they can't be up watching the Dodgers in Seattle. It's like you said, it's going to be only the West Coast who's going to care about that series. How you appealing to the kid in New York? Like it doesn't add up to me.
And I mean, you think Mariners fans ain't going to show up at 4 o'clock local time and go watch their team in this first World Series?
I'm gonna watch it. Yeah.
You think Chavez Ravine ain't going to be packed at 4 o'clock?
Mm-hmm. Easily.
You know, come on, man. So, yeah, come on. We can get some 7 o'clock first pitches. We can get some 8 o'clocks. We don't need to. Please, no 9 o'clocks. Please.
Yeah.
So I hate when the NBA does that. The West when the West Coast team gets home court, it is just a 9 o'clock tip off. I mean, come on, man.
No, it's not good. But by the way, Dodgers win against the Brewers 4-1, maybe even sweep, and I think they beat the Mariners or the Blue Jays 4-1. I don't think it's competitive. I think it's going to be a dominant run to the World Series championship.
Yeah,
like, and again, it's good because this is the team we expected to be all year, and now they're turning it on. That's what I like championship medal. It shows me, we know how to win over here. And so I'd be surprised if they lose more than 2 games the rest of the postseason.
All right, Sean, how do you feel about Schultz stepping down as skipper for the Padres and all the changes that organization's been going through lately?
Yeah, I like it in the sense like he's prioritizing his mental health and his he's 67. He's still a young person, so if he wants to go do something else for the rest of his life, I think that makes sense. It's an appealing job. It's right there with the Braves as the most appealing job. I would probably take the Braves because I think the GM of the Padres is a little erratic. Because I think
AJ Preller, everybody's always something coming out about him.
yeah, and I think that his wild trades and stuff has put the organization, unless you win it, it could put you back in peril. And they've given up a lot of good young prospects over the few years, and they haven't won it. And they're not the Yankees, they're not the Dodgers that can sign all these free agents and bring everybody back. So they've been spending more money than I expect from San Diego. San Diego is really a small market. It's a really, really small market. But I just think it's still with the talent base over there, and then the Braves talent base, those are the two best jobs. But I would take the Braves. I would lean more into the Braves and where they're at over that division, over them. And you don't have to deal with the Dodgers with all those games.
I think with the Braves, though, at some point, Manny Machado's got to show up in the postseason.
Yeah.
Your team, like some of your big contracts have to show up in the postseason. And Tatis just didn't show up all year, right? So the Braves are in a real dangerous situation. Not the Braves, the Padres are in a situation right now where it's, hey, if next year is another down year,
let's move on.
It's going to be time.
Yeah. Yep.
So this is really an all-in, all or nothing 2026 coming up for San Diego. So this is going to be a very pivotal winter of can they find the right manager, they put the right staff together, and like how do you improve around the margins, right? What is there that you can get better at?
Yeah, I'm concerned about them in this aspect. It's like, yeah, you keep some of their big market guys haven't performed, right? And let's talk about this real quick. Has there been anyone who fell from grace besides Ja Morant quicker than Fernando Tatis Jr.?
No.
That guy was the face of the league. A couple years ago, I was like, oh, he's it. He's A-Rod, Jeter. He's the next guy. He's an afterthought. He is an afterthought. That him and Ja Morant's fall from grace of being the next ones. Like I always said, a book needs to be told on that story because that's written on that story because that was, yeah, he was the guy.
Jock can still hoop.
Yeah,
Fernando just don't look the same at all.
Nah, his fall from grace is crazy. He was it. I won't be surprised when I wake up one day and see a 30 for 30 about his story because that's just crazy.
Went from shortstop to right field.
Commercials. He was playing. I was like, man, this guy's fun. It's swag. Man, that's sad. Sad what's happened to him in San Diego.
Yeah, I mean, we had the potential to have a real great era of shortstop, Sean. Bobby Witt, Gunnar Henderson / Jackson Holiday, Ellie Dela Cruz, O'Neal Cruz is over there before they moved into center field. Tatis, Seager, Wander Franco, and it's just all disappeared just like that.
It's not good. And just because besides Bobby Witt's clear. I think clearly the guy out of those guys, and he needs to definitely get more pub. But I know he plays in Kansas City. It is what it is. But the other guys are cool. That is not in serious. Like, oh my gosh, Gunnar. I like Gunnar, but sometimes it can be up and down. Yeah, and I loved Cruz from Cincinnati. It's been whatever. Like, it's very disappointing. I agree with that. 4 years ago, we thought we were going to be in the next era of like the A-Rod, Nomar Garcia, Parra, Jeter. There were some other guys in that era too who were playing great shortstop, but nah, we don't have that.
Yeah. Sean, the Commanders back down to earth. I told you they are not going to be as good as they were last year. But I'm concerned by what I'm seeing. Nothing looks the same in Washington. Nothing.
Start with the quarterback. He missed a few games, but I think what we have to start learning about the NFL, it's like consistency matters. We've seen with CJ Stroud, now we're seeing with Jaden Daniels. You can have a good one year. It could be your rookie year. It could be your second year. It could be your third year. But can you string them together? Can you consistently see? We've seen Geno Smith have one good year before. We have seen Sam Darnold have a good year before. And my concern is Jaden Daniels does not look anything like the quarterback last year. And I do think it's not the hype or anything. People figure you out. They watch him on tape. That we prematurely put him in the top 5, the best quarterback in the NFC. And nothing looks the same. They'll 9-8-10 type of team. They look like 10-7, maybe scratch to make the postseason, but they're definitely no NFC finalists again.
People have to really start understanding what playing an easy schedule does for you.
Yes.
And I said that schedule was so easy that they're going to play a second place schedule this year. And that's not a roster built to play a second place schedule right now. And it's shown. And it's been the way they lose, right? Like the way they lost to Chicago, fumbling that handoff, just rough. The way you lost to Atlanta by 1 possession with your backup quarterback in. Your leading rusher in the loss to Green Bay was Austin Eckler with 17 yards. You've only had a guy go for 100 yards once this season. You have yet to have a 100-yard receiver. You know what I mean? So, offensively, it's up to the coordinator. Shake something up. If you can't impress against Dallas this week, you've got an issue. And that's a real tough portion of the schedule, Sean. Think at Dallas for America's Game of the Week. At Kansas City for Monday Night Football on ABC. Then you host Seattle for Sunday Night Football. Then you host Detroit for America's Game of the Week. You're on, I don't care what anyone says, America's Game of the Week is a primetime game. I don't care. And whenever you have Nance and Romo at 4 o'clock on CBS, it's a primetime game. Anyone who disagrees can kiss my ass. So that's 4 straight primetime games for Washington. And then your reward for that is going overseas for a game before your bye week. That's tough.
Yeah, it's tough.
And then when you come back, it's not easier. You come back, you're hosting Denver Sunday Night Football. You're going to Minnesota. You're going to the Giants, who are in a pushover. You're hosting Philly for a Saturday game. So that's a primetime game. You're hosting Dallas on Thanksgiving. Dallas on the road for Thanksgiving? Huh? When does that start happening? Yeah, that's what it's saying. And then, you finish your season in Philadelphia. The rest of the schedule is just hard. We're not built for this, man. Not built for it at all.
I can see them not making the postseason at all. But shout out to Ben Johnson for getting the Bears, who were off to a horrible start, playing better football now, 3-2. Like the NFC North is got some guys in there, some teams in there.
Yeah. Sean, I'm sure this will be quick. You weren't the biggest fan of the hire in the first place.
No.
Brian Callahan, fired in Tennessee. Because that receiving core just does not look anything like it should. It's just bad.
No, it's just bad. And he didn't call plays in Cincinnati. And they said that, he worked with Joe Burrow. That was the main basis of him getting the job. It just looked bad, and they looked lifeless. You could tell Cam has a lot of talent. They just need the proper coach. Mike McCoy will get the opportunity. I don't see it as a long-term fit, but I think it's an appealing job to move into a new stadium. And you got your quarterback. And that's all you need. The quarterback, new stadium. And it seems like they have a good brain trust from old Kansas City, some old guys from Kansas City who came there. It's not a bad job. I do think that Callahan was over his head, and it's sad that he had to go. But they needed to make that move. I was just surprised they made it now. It was the writing on the wall was going to be at the end of the year, but make it now, it makes sense.
You got to think they're the very winnable division with a roster, to me, that is just not far away at all, especially on defense. That's a good job to me. Yeah. I think they'll be able to get anybody they want in this next head coaching cycle. I really do.
I can see, I hope they don't go the young assistant route. Unless it's Jesse Minter.
Minter could be a head coach.
Minter could be a head coach. He's like next guy up type of guy. I don't know who's the like the offense coordinator guy could be like, But Minter's definitely the guy that I would offer the job to.
Yeah. All right, Sean. I went 4-2 in college last week. We're finally even on the college picks this year. I think that's something to celebrate.
You caught up.
Went 1-2 on the NFL last week. Detroit, I thought was going to cover against Kansas City, and it just didn't happen. You got anything for us this week?
Yeah. So Green Bay, Arizona, 6.5. I like Green Bay because I don't know if Kyler's playing. But either way, even if he's playing, if he's playing, it's gonna be closer than that. But if he's not playing, I'm definitely taking Green Bay with their -6.5. And I actually like Atlanta on Sunday Night Football. Damn, Atlanta got a Monday night game and a Sunday night game. What the heck? What did they do? I'm no disrespect. I'm like,
that's good for that city. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah. But geez, right. 2.5 points San Francisco. I like Atlanta going to San Francisco win that game. I would take them in the points.
All right. I've got 2 for the NFL this week. Panthers money line at the Jets and Seattle money line on the back half of the Monday night doubleheader against the Texans. College, I've got Washington covering the touchdown at Michigan. I've got Oklahoma -5.5 in a bounce back game at South Carolina. Northwestern money line against Purdue. A&M to win by more than a touchdown at Arkansas. North Texas money line against UTSA. Southern Miss money line at Louisiana Lafayette. In Missouri, bounce back win money line at Auburn.
Okay, I like all those. By the way, little rant. Why is there 2 Monday Night Football games?
Some weeks I like it, some weeks I don't.
I don't like it at all. I don't like it at all because I think Monday Night Special, and this would probably say old school, but like I was disappointed, even though I was at the game, but I wasn't watching it. Dan Orlovsky and that crew gets that game. Like,
now I do think they got the assignments wrong this week.
What do you mean?
The broadcast teams. I think they should have been flipped this week.
Absolutely.
They should have been flipped this week. That was my problem. But the presentation period, the doubleheader period, like I'm not too mad at it. It goes back to that SAG-AFTRA strike too. Also, like ABC after that was just like the hell with it. We don't even need to pay for the budget for new shows on Monday night anyway. We can just plug Monday Night Football in and still have another one on ESPN to fill the time slot. So business-wise, it makes sense for them. I just think some weeks when you have one of those games, it should be the standalone. But if there's weeks where you got a bad draw,
but like
it's fine.
Tampa, Detroit is big enough to be a standalone. It
should be a solo.
Yeah. No disrespect to Houston, Seattle, but that could be 4:00 on Sunday.
Yeah, the Texans just haven't lived up to the bill.
Yeah. See what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying. Some weeks, even this week, because Jaden Daniels, Caleb Williams, okay, I see that, why they did the doubleheader. All right, cool. And that's fine. But I don't think Josh Allen and Falcons is a lesser game than that game. I just don't.
Yeah. Like this week, either one could have been a standalone. Either one could have been part of a doubleheader. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But next week I'm with you. Like I think that Tampa game should be standalone.
It just be standalone. But that's just my little rant. But the NFL is all about the money, so they're gonna do what they gotta do. I don't even care if they wanted to move it to like they had a Friday night game or something, but I just don't think just should be 2 Monday night games. That's what.
All right. Take sports broadcast and that keeps them from Friday night games. You got anything else?
No, that's it. That's it.
Yeah. That's it from us this week. We'll be back next week. And hopefully we get to start the show with just getting right into the topics.
We will. We have to. We have to.
All right. We out of here. Take care.
Peace.